But speaking of the topic of deadbeats, and I'm not calling this man a deadbeat because he clearly wants to be in this child's life. DDG and Halle. So as of recently, over the weekend, Mr. DDG himself decided to go on stream and to talk about that he is not able to see his son. Halle had also made a post stating it is that her and Halo both have RSV, and people have been asking, "What is that? What is that?" It's a respiratory infection. There's a lot of there's been a lot of viruses that's going on. Trust me, like I'm fresh off of 2 weeks of having influenza A that turned into pneumonia. I got tested for RSV as well to make sure it is I didn't have it, but you know all that stuff. Like it's a very serious virus infection that's going on. Everybody's getting sick, right? So without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and let's talk about this real quickly. Let's.
Good morning, Snap. I just want to come on here and tell you guys why I'm not posting. Me and Halo are very sick. We have RSV and we do not feel good at all. So sorry I haven't been posting snaps, but I've just been using all my energy to take care of my baby and myself.
And so the level heads in this situation would probably say, well, one parent is sick, the other parent should take care of the child in question during this specific time. It's a respiratory infection or virus or whatever the case may be. It could spread. But again, that's an ideal.
Yes, it does spread. You need to quarantine. And the fact that we got Mr. Cheeto Dust in office and he put that ban on the CDC for the 90 days when he was sworn in, they cannot report with the levels of dangers of the viruses that's going on. So a lot of people, I mean, it's so bad to the point, chat, that there's rapid cases of measles coming back in the United States. I literally read a case as of like my state as of today. I'm like, oh, great. Another thing it is that we have to look out for when it comes down to our health.
World. And I saw a lot of people this weekend hop on DDG's side, say that Halle Bailey was this, that, and the third. And this is my problem. Not only because those people are parasocial, which I'll get into in 2 seconds, is that jumping the gun can leave you looking stupid because now we have DDG going online previewing latest songs where he is seemingly trying to antagonize the entire situation and his baby mama by doing stupid measures like this.
Don't take my son, cause he all I got. I'm just having fun. I don't love these stocks. You tell me that you gon' move on, but I know you not. Tryna make me pay to see my son. They gon' make me hot. That'll make me pissed. That'll make me sick. Playing games like Twitch. Can you make a bottle right now? He fussing. I'm not pulling out. I'm busting. I would hit her from the back. I'm making a cream at Russian. Why you keep being
What? Oh my
What?
God, that's a crazy line. Now you would think that the parent who was abrasive to even bringing these things on the internet in the first place, despite however he's been dealing with the issue behind closed doors.
Listen. And I know a lot of people, listen, I'm going to be honest, chat. A lot of people aren't really too fond of DDG and Halle. One, because of the fact, I don't know why people feel so entitled to this, but they're like, well, you guys hid the pregnancy from us, so you guys should hide the problems the way it is that you had from us as well. First and foremost, if you have ever dealt with pregnancy, experienced it beforehand, the last thing you want is outside opinion. People are not as helpful as what it is you think during a time like that. And plus your body's going through so many different levels of changes, even after it is you give birth. I don't think people understand that until it is that it happens to you. It is one of those things that is like you will never understand what a woman goes through until it is that you see it firsthand or that woman goes through and experience it herself. There's that. DDG, hi Raina. DDG has always done some questionable things on social media. He's always done some questionable things on his stream where it almost looks attention seeking. I know a lot of people don't really like him. I don't say it is that he's a bad person, but he does some stuff for attention. He does. He clearly does at this point. And there has been a lot of speculation of jealousy of Halle's success, especially when the Little Mermaid movie came about. I mean, she was literally at like heights, like when that movie first came out, and then to get pregnant immediately afterwards. I hate to say this. I really hate to say this, but Halle is gonna unfortunately end up looking a wee bit corny because of DDG, because of his antics. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people are gonna look at her as just like, oh, she's the wrongdoer because of the fact of the things it is DDG does. And this is a prime example. I see it firsthand. I understand it. Is why you can't get pregnant by bums. And I don't mean to call DDG a bum, but there is some behaviors, there are some levels of maturity that he needs to do. He has to have that level of maturity. I have to be honest and I have to call for what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But Halle, Cardi B, Kiki Palmer. I mean, I can go down a list of different women, and it's not their fault. I'll get into that later. It's not their fault to why it is that they get pregnant by these men that are basically losers, to be honest with you. I mean, call it for what it is. Like all three of them have some level. Coyle Ray, another one. Beautiful girl, pregnant by this bum ass red dreaded nigga. Oh my God, bro. Nicki Minaj is another one. I mean, like, have levels of success, career, and all that. And then you have a man that feels so damn inferior that he has to go ahead and use the manipulation of pregnancy to keep them down or to dim them down or be like, oh, she's always going to be a part of me because of the fact that we have a child together. And then it makes you look kind of, you know, it kind of makes you look like it is you're a loser because of the fact that you got pregnant by a loser. And again, this is not their fault. It comes from Black parent households. It comes from the levels of not doing the service of like telling their younger girls about what to look out for within men, allowing them to explore their bodies, allowing them to explore themselves, dating, what it is that they like, what are like discernment, red flags, all of that stuff. It has to be taught. A lot of times dating and sex is so taboo in Black families. It's like you're the child. And then once it is you turn 18, it's just like, oh, you're an adult. When I'm getting some grandkids, it's like, wait, hold on. How did we jump from this to this? You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of Christian folks that be in churches that get pregnant by losers, man. I see it all the time. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about.
Would just be a little bit more professional, just a little bit more classy in the situation. Again, not fuel the fire that people have for him in these regards by saying all this is for internet clout for you, all this is for fame. You are just using your son in this situation to further views. No, that's too easy. That's too easy. That's not who DDG is. Obviously, he doesn't want to get too messy, right? That's why he just won't bring it to court.
Everybody's saying go to court, do this and that. The reason I don't want to is because it's going to get extremely messy and it don't have to happen. And it's going to get to a point where, but it ain't going to go how I think is in like her best interest to not want to go to court either. When we can just have a clear understanding. All right, cool. Like I want to pick my son up, take him to dinner. If you really want him, I'll bring him right back. It's not a problem. We go to court, the judge going to give me some time. And when I got the time, the nigga, I'm going to do whatever I want with my son. When y'all see me streaming with girls and shit.
I don't understand why he keeps putting this shit on the internet. I don't understand why either of them put this on the internet. Now, I agree that courts shouldn't necessarily be involved, but again, these are complex situations. This is why people on the outside really shouldn't be.
Yeah, this tweet says, I don't feel bad for DDG nor Halle. The only person who gets affected is Halo, and the only person who gets the sympathy from me. I mean, yes, like, here's my thing. Some people will go as far, like, I see stupid comments like this, like, oh, this is why it is you need to get married before it is you have kids. If you would be surprised at how many single married women it is that are out there, they're only happy on social media. They're only happy because it is a legal contract, and that is it. I know plenty of men it is that hate their wives. That don't mean shit at the end of the day. There's men it is that use that level of manipulation to keep getting their wives pregnant, just so it is that the wife don't have to like work or anything like that. She don't do nothing for herself. She will lose every essence of who she used to be because she's too busy taking care of his kids. There's a sick mind, it's a sick psychology that goes into some of this stuff. But both of them, it's both DDG and both Halle. Halle also had went as far as like, saying, hey, I didn't want my son being on stream with such and such and such that's going on. Cool. DDG also went as far as saying, hey, I can't go ahead and go pick up my son. My son is sick. I drove this many hours and got turned away. Now with Halle, I understand her. I understand her level of just like, hey, listen, like, I don't want my son to be in around certain things it is that you do on stream and stuff. But why is it that, first and foremost, to drive anywhere, to get in your car and to drive for a certain amount of time, where was the communication in the levels of like trying to pick him up or anything like that? At this rate, DDG, now I gotta have to ask you the question on just like, why did you drive all the way that far to claim it is you're going to see your son without having the conversation with Halle? I'm sure Halle would have easily said it is like both her and Halo sick. And I hope it's not one of those things to where it is that DDG is trying to keep tabs on Halle and see if it is that she's moving on. If she's around another dude or something like that, like some insecurity type of shit. But come on. RSV, that's contagious. And I can understand why she may have been like, hey, maybe this ain't the right time right now because me and him are sick. Like, like slow your roll with this, DDG.
Be giving commentary about this and saying who is right, who is wrong, who is left.
The black community is so stupid, praising DDG for doing the bare minimum of being a father. Black men always get a cookie for doing what they're supposed to do. I feel like this is a projection. I feel like this is projection because nobody's ever saying it is that DDG doesn't be a father. Are we saying it is that DDG does the bare minimum? And the fact it is that you lumped black community into that whole thing, that is wholeheartedly a projection. I don't like the way how does he say that because not everybody within the black community does that. There are amazing black fathers. I don't know why it is that people act like, oh, like black fathers is like so taboo. It's not actually. Hell, I have a black father, that's been in my life and raised me. So I'm just confused on why it is you lump that together and then you have this amount of views and this amount of like retweets and likes and like bookmarks. It's kind of stupid.
To his right, everybody's not in it. We're all getting pieces of the story from highly emotional people. You see, the idea of things getting too messy to me doesn't make too much sense. One, you probably wouldn't bring into
so there's definitely a story going on that he's trying to be a present father, but Halle won't let him see him, and that's getting spun. But hey, I mean, we don't really know the full story, but that's just kind of nuts within itself to say, you know what I mean? Like, one thing it is I can say with this, DDG might do some questionable things that I may not necessarily be too keen on, but he loves that boy. That's one thing it is, he loves being a dad. We don't, but you can't get caught up in the present lies either. Yeah, that's also a good point. I feel like both of them are equally trying. Like, it's hard to co-parent. Like, that's a sticky situation within itself, is trying to be copacetic with each other and then also to raise a baby. I mean, they did break up before Halo was 1, so that's hard within itself, So, I hope it doesn't get to that point of court, because then that gets even worse. That's the last thing it is that you want. But let's continue.
The internet. If you didn't want it to be messy in court, now you're okay with it being messy on the internet because it actually is messy on the internet. And then you're also not even getting anything out of bringing it to the internet, but attacks on her, attacks on you, and child still not in your arms. Like, you're literally not getting anything. You get to make more money, get more views and stuff like that, but other than that, you're not getting the outcome that you desired. At least that's the one that you're displaying. And this kind of brings me to my whole point as to why I feel like DDG in this situation is hypocritical. This whole situation doesn't just start here. This started a couple months ago when Halle Bailey reacted to DDG bringing Halo on Kai Cenat's stream. She wasn't too happy about seeing her child be strolled onto the camera in a...
I mean, when I say people chewed her out for this, people chewed her out. And I'm like, yo, like, there's no way that we are getting on Halle when something like this is that's reasonable. This is reasonable for her to be like, yo, like, I'm not too keen on what you doing with our baby. And you do this on stream and stuff like that. Like, that's kind of, you know what I mean? Yes, he's in a bag. He's in a bag. That's something that would make me tweak out too. Like, why you got our baby like this? Like, what's wrong with you? So I can see why it is that she did not like this. But when I say people wholeheartedly made her like deactivate her page for like a day and then say, hey, maybe it is I was overreacting. I'm going through postpartum with my hormones and stuff like that. I wish she didn't have to apologize for that. But like, stuff like this, like, come on, bro.
A purse, man bag, whatever the case may be, by her baby daddy. So she went to Twitter and tried to activate her audience. Now, granted, we're trying to paint the picture of a perfect world. DDG is able to have his baby whenever he wants, go to dinner, bring him back, hang out with him, etc., etc. And then also Halle is notified where the baby is shown at, whether they're going to be on public, showcased here, this, that, and the third, and they both have say so. Almost like beyond co-parenting type situation. But I think that there was a lot of overreaction and there was some truth in that situation because, to be honest with you, she used that opportunity to weaponize her audience. I still with a lot of the comments saying that, hey, it's his baby. He doesn't necessarily have to notify you at every single moment, etc., etc. I also stood on the side of it would be.
That is a crazy statement to say. This is like, oh, that's, doesn't have to know. Y'all, listen, you have to take out your feelings and you have to take that out when it comes down to children. It is not about you. It is about the child at this point. I think people are starting to misunderstand that. It is all about the level of the safety and making sure that this child is okay. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Nice to be notified. We should be able to make decisions on how we portray our baby, etc.
And plus, she's the mother's, which is even more of confusion to me.
etc., etc. But this is the co-parenting game that we've decided to play. And so when she took the internet, I personally felt like she galvanized, or attempted to at least galvanize, her audience and say, hey, this guy is a bad dad. I'm painting this picture of him, etc., etc., because he is not the person that he thinks he is. He's not notifying me about all these situations. Look at what's happening on Kai's stream, blase, blase, blah, etc., etc. And the reality was, Halo just went on there to receive what seemed to be some birthday gifts. So after she got the backlash from that, she issued an apology statement saying that, yesterday maybe I did overreact and shouldn't have brought it here. I know that Halo is always safe with his dad. I just don't like finding out with the rest of the world what my baby is doing. Thanks, Kai, for the gifts for you and Halo. He remembers that day quite vividly because
that's one situation where it's like, that's one situation where you can kind of compare it to what's going on. You feel me? Like, why do I need permission to go on a live stream and this nigga Kai and probably spent a couple bands on gifts for him? Why? I was going through it during that live stream. Like, my phone was getting blown. You would have thought I was bringing him to Afghanistan or something.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point. She is the mother of that child. She was pregnant with that baby, birthed that baby. You was there for when it is that she birthed him. I feel that we're not necessarily taking a little bit of empathy to what the mother would feel. What's up, Galaxy? I feel like it is, for instance, if I was in her shoes and I seen my son's father doing something like this, I'd have a problem with that. Like, I literally would have a problem with that too. It's just like, what is you stupid? Like, you could have at least said something. That's not something it is I should find out. Not to say it is like, oh, the baby wasn't going to be safe with you, but there is lines of communication. Like what I said before, you in your feelings, DDG. You need to take your feelings out of this, and you need to be making sure it is that you are notifying of certain things like that. You know what I mean? This ain't about you no more. This is about that boy, that beautiful boy. And you're taking the equation of the mother's feelings. And that's why it is that y'all having this issue as of right now. That's crazy. And many people can tell the situation in their childhood where one parent did something and the other parent didn't necessarily agree. Exactly. Exactly. I'll even go further more saying it is I don't feel Halle wanted her son to be on social media like that. I think this was something more like DDG wanted. DDG was definitely obviously he respected the wishes of not really posting the baby's face and stuff like that for a period of time. But I still don't feel that Halle is more so accepting of him being so like out there like that, you know?
To fight in the war.
That's crazy as fuck. Now, Halle is definitely not absolved of any sort of criticism in these conversations because she's been doing the exact same things for a long time. Now, I know that there's some sort of sliding scale or whatever the case may be of her putting Halo on her Instagram story or her Snapchat story or whatever the case may be. End of the
Fair.
day, she is still showcasing her child, which is a complete disregard of her previous morals about being a private person on the internet. Only smoke that I have for both of them, and I've been alluding to it in this whole situation, is during that time, Halle was definitely weaponizing and galvanizing her audience to try to go against DDG, try to attack DDG, paint him in the light of being a bad parent, paint him in the light of, being irresponsible of his child, etc., etc. And I 100% condemn that. My only question is, in this situation here, how is that any different? We know the sort of connotations that go with being labeled bitter baby mamas, keeping children away from their father, not allowing you to see their son, etc., etc. And all that's gonna do is bring your audience over to these people.
I'm not even trying to say Halle is a mean person like that. Actually, bro, she be telling y'all. She tells you that she's not. She be saying, I know I look like a nice girl all the time and shit, but like, that's really my sister. I'm really like the crazy one. Like, I'm actually fucking. She be telling y'all, best little girl, Little Mermaid, innocent Disney princess. Bro, she be telling y'all, yo, I'm literally the mean one out of us too. They don't give a fuck.
I seem nice online and innocent and everything, but you guys do not know. I will.
Why I
Yikes.
think is nasty in either of these situations is that we only have snapshots, and those snapshots do not tell the entirety of the story. So now you're gonna have people creating crazy ass
Narratives.
parasocial relationships about DDG, about Halle Bailey, and the different critiques.
So now if y'all don't see me with my son, every day, y'all know I stream every day. Every day I don't see my son, I'ma number it. Let's see. I know she gonna let me see my son now. This is the only way. Behind
Dang.
closed doors, I have not been able to see my son. Only if we on perfect terms and she around is cool. But if we not, I don't get to see him. I don't care to do girl content, whatever the fuck. That has nothing to do with anything that's work. That has nothing to do with me wanting to be around my son, like whatsoever. I don't give a fuck who she fucking, who she talk to, who her nigga is, who she fucking filming movies with. I don't give a fuck. I care about my son. That's all I care about. Literally, that's all I care about. And when that's taken from me, she know that's the only way I get frustrated. That's the only way she can get under my skin, because I don't care what she does. We haven't been together.
Now, I do see that this may be some commonality, and the hit dogs are literally hollering on social media. There are people saying, what DDG did is disgusting, or the black community is so stupid for praising DDG for doing the bare minimums, and Halle is really a saint and a savior, while other people are also showing photos and videos of her literally rebuking that sort of label because that's not who she is. All in all, these people know nothing about these people. Stop
Right.
being in their business. Stop allowing DDG and Halle to invite you into the group chat and make criticisms on each other, when at the end of the day, they're the ones that have to co-parent. They're the ones that have to,
Correct.
figure this situation out.
Y'all pulled up with me, I would've seen y'all niggas outside.
I feel like that they're reaching. They're reaching. They are reaching. They are reaching with this. They are reaching with this. Like that baby's 1 year old, gang. They're reaching. Halo could have been tired, up in everybody's face and everything like that. Like y'all have not been around children, especially babies, or have children of your own to make these levels of assumptions, if you will. But it's so dumb that, like, do I feel like it is that Halle is a saint? No, not necessarily. I don't feel like anybody is really a saint, to be honest with you. Even the ones it is that portrayed is that they are. Everybody has their levels of sin. Everybody is capable of doing sin. Everybody. Does that make you a bad person? No. Like, you know, you could do something today like cuss or, you know, do something bad and whatnot and be able to go ahead and just and still make it through, gang. But I feel there is a bit of reaching that a lot of people are doing, a lot of think pieces, a lot of people saying their own levels of opinions on the what ifs or, you know, blaming this within on black communities and stuff like that. And it's, you're not helping the scenario. If anything, it is y'all are making it 1,000 times worse than what it needs to be. What's up, Earl? But I hope it is that at least Halle and DDG can able to co-parent and coexist for the sake of Halo. Halo is only 1.5 at this point. So I hope it is that they can able to do so. But Omizi, shout out to you. Thank you so much for the video. Shout outs to y'all in the chat. Hey, shout outs to you at home. I'll catch y'all in the next video.